Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and it's that time of the weekend. Again, we are gonna make our predictions for the weekend football. Serie A is the one that we are gonna talk about in this video. Quite fun games last weekend, quite a bit of shocking results last weekend as well. Como getting their first win of the season, Milan winning the derby against Inter. So a lot of fun games last weekend. Roma winning against Udinese. So it was quite a fun weekend. So let's go ahead and see what happens in this weekend. As always, the point formula is quite simple: 3 points if my entire prediction is right, and 2 points if the prediction is right but the score is different. And we're going to see how many points I am able to achieve at the end of the weekend. I've not been able to review the predictions for this weekend because I was sick, but I'm going to make sure I am able to do it for this weekend at the end of this weekend when the games end. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and start making our prediction. The first game is Milan versus Lecce, and as I said before, that Milan, they won that all important derby against Inter. It was like so important for Milan to win. Their form had been quite dreadful, to be very honest with you. Coming into that game, they had lost against Liverpool in the Champions League. Like everybody expected Inter to win that game. I went for a 3-0 Inter win. That was my prediction, so that was blown out of the water. Like that was so wrong. There were rumors and there were murmurs that if Milan don't get a good result and if their performance is not good in that derby, Francesca's job is gonna be on the line. So everything was against them. That they were being pushed against the wall, and the way that they performed was really good. Like Inter was quite surprised at how Milan played. I think it was quite a good game. It was a quite shrewd game by Francesca. Like he stuck to his tactics. He frustrated Inter and they got that all important win that they needed. And I think they would be really happy. The players really fought for their manager and they really fought for themselves, because as I said, everybody had basically before the game cast them out. Like it was, everybody predicted Inter to win that game, and Milan proved everybody wrong. So I think they would be really happy and they are going to come in this game with a lot of confidence. They are playing against a Lecce side who are like currently 17th in the table, so their position is not really good. Their performances have been not that good. They played a 2-2 draw against Parma last weekend. That was quite a fun game to watch, but they are not being able to get the results that they need. The performances are there, but they are not getting the points. They are gonna play a Milan side who I said they are they are going to be on top of the ball. They are at home as well, so I really expect an easy win from Milan. But this is Serie A and this is Milan. They become very good one weekend and then they become dreadful the following weekend. But they have like 1-2 games in a row for the first time this season. I think they are going to make it 3 games in a row. It is not going to be an easy win. It is going to be quite a close game. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Milan against Lecce. The next game is Udinese versus Inter Milan. Like both these teams had a bad weekend last weekend. Both of these teams lost for the first time in Serie A last weekend. Udinese, they lost against Roma. They were at the top of the table going into match day 5, but now they are currently third. Inter, on the other hand, they are 5th in the table. So it was not a good weekend for them. Udinese, I think they would be they basically got outplayed. I sort of predicted that. I said that Roma at home, they are going to win it, and they are going to win it quite convincingly, and that's what happened there. Udinese were never really in that game, if we are being very honest with you, and the way they played that game, I think it would be a worry for this game as well, especially with Inter. In a way, they are in angrier mode when they come to town. Inter, as they lost the Milan derby and they were not able to get the job done. They had a lot of possession, but they were not able to really create a lot. I think that has been a sort of a problem for Inter this season. They have a lot of possession, and I think not only Inter, Juventus have had the same problem as well. They control the game, majority of the game, but the chances that they are creating are not that much, and I think that's something Inzaghi needs to work on this season. Again, they are going to be favorites going into the game because of the squad that they have and the way that they have played this season. Udinese, even though they were on top last weekend, but I just don't think they are as good as compared to Inter. But but again they are at home, they are very good at home. I just I don't wanna bet against them because of just one bad result. I think both of them, they are gonna draw points again this game weekend as well. So I'm going for a draw in this game, and I think it's going to be a very a low scoring draw. I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Udinese and Inter. Moving on to the next game, it's a Genoa versus Juventus. It's a 16th versus a 4th. Now Genoa have had a really terrible start to the season. Nobody really expected them to be this low after 5 games. They need to really do something about it. Otherwise, it could turn out to be a very bad season for them. You can easily get get stuck in that relegation battle if things don't really change quite quickly. Even though it's just a week 5, but they have not played a really good football. Even last weekend, like, they lost, it was quite a shock defeat against Venezia. They had not won a single game. They were playing really poor, and Genoa go there and they lost 2-0. Good game of by Venezia, but Genoa were really poor in that game. And as I said, like, it was not like it was a fluke win by Venezia. It was a very good performance by them. Genoa were really poor. They are playing against a Juventus side who started the season with 2 consecutive wins, but after that it has been 3 consecutive draws. They are currently at 4th. They drew against Napoli last weekend. That was quite a boring game. Like, it was such a letdown. I was so hyped up for that game, but it was such a bad game of football, to be very honest with you. Both of the teams, they really did not create. I sort of expected that from Juventus with the way they played. Their playing style is sort of I don't want to say boring, but like, it's a quite standard. You don't really expect that much goals from them. The way Mota plays is just like score a couple of goals and then just relax and don't go all out. Napoli, on the other hand, you expected a lot of goals, but it was a really boring game for them. So Juventus 3 consecutive draws. They really need to get that win, and with the way the other results are going on, I think this is their best chance to get the win and get back on the top spot in Serie A this weekend. And I think they are gonna win it. I don't see Genoa putting up much of a fight against Juventus. I think it's going to be a comfortable win for Juve. I'm going for a 3-1 away win for Juventus. The next game is Bologna versus Atalanta. It's 13 versus 14. It's 2 teams that have not had a good start. They have not performed to the level that people expected them to perform. Bologna, they won last weekend against Monza 2-1. I think that was a really important win for them. They needed to win that game, otherwise it would have been even worse. And against Monza, I think they should have won, and they won. It was a good performance for them. It ended up being a close game, but they got over the line, and as I said, it was important win for them. A lot of people have expected Bologna to have a drop this season after last year's good performance, but the way they are playing, nobody really expected them to go that down. So they need to get some a couple of good wins to get back in that top half of the table. They are playing against an Atalanta side who have now lost 3 games already out of the 5 games that they have played. They lost, they suffered a shock defeat against Como, and I'll be very honest, I think that Como deserved that win completely. Atalanta were really poor in that game, especially in that second half. I don't know what that defense was doing. It was really terrible. It was so easy for them to score, for Como to score against Atalanta. So it was a really bad performance. They need to do something really quickly about their defense, because it's not really looking good. Like, the thing is, I predicted Atalanta to finish second. I thought they were going to be the team that really pushed Inter for the title, but the way they are playing, it is looking really a disastrous. I think it will be a disastrous performance, and it could be a disastrous season for Atalanta if they continue with that. If we come to this game, I really don't see any winner, to be very honest with you. I just don't trust any of them to be able to win this game. I think it's going to be a boring game. I just think I'm going for a 0-0 game in between 0-0 draw between Bologna and Atalanta. The next game is Torino versus Lazio. It's 1 against 8. Like, Torino have had a really good start to the season. They are still undefeated in the league till now. Their performances have been really good, and as I said, they are at top of the Serie A at the moment. Every weekend when I'm making prediction, there's another team, a different team that is top of the table. So it's really exciting at the moment in Serie A. They defeated Verona last week 3-2. It was quite a good game of football, quite a close game as well, quite entertaining as well. they would be really, the confidence is going to be really high. They are top as well. They played a good game, they won a close game, so they are at home as well, so they are going to be in a very good position mentally coming into this game. They are playing against a Lazio side who were defeated, suffered a shock defeat in my opinion against a Fiorentina last weekend, but then they go ahead in Europa League and they won the game at 3-0. So it is like you really don't know which Lazio are going to come up, but the thing is, and I think that might play a part as well, that Torino had a week's rest and they did not have to play mid a week a competition like a Europa League, and Lazio had to play it. So I think that might come into play this weekend as well. They are away as well, Lazio, and Torino are at home, and with everything that is going on, considering last weekend as well, I think it is going to be a home win. I think Torino are going to continue to be the top team of Serie A for another week at least. I am going for a comfortable 2-0 win for Torino. The next game is Como versus Verona. It is a 15th versus a 10th. Now both of these teams have been really good. The performances have been really good. Como, they have won 2 games. Verona have won 2 games. They have lost 3 games. Como on the other hand, they have had a couple of draws that they should have won. Verona themselves, like last weekend as well, as I said, they lost to Torino 3-2. It was quite a close game. It was quite an entertaining game. Every single game Verona have played, it has been quite fun to watch, to be very honest with you. Even if they have lost or even they have won, they have surprised, they have already caused like 2 upsets. So it has been a really good and surprising season for Verona. I'm not gonna lie. Como themselves, they got a shock win last weekend against Atalanta. So both of these teams are gonna produce a good game of football. Will either of them win? That is a big question, and I don't really wanna bet against any of them because of the way that they are playing. I expect a lot of goals. Both of these teams like to go forward and like to score goals, and I'm going for that. I think there are going to be goals in this game. I expect a high scoring game. I expect a high scoring draw. I don't think either of them are going to win. I'm going for a 3-all draw between Como and Verona. The next game is Empoli versus Fiorentina, 5th versus 11th, and Empoli are one of the 3 teams who are still undefeated in Serie A. That is like quite surprising after 5 games, but they have really deserved it. Their performances have been really good in every single game that they have played. They have defended really good, and I think that has been the reason that why they are still undefeated. It's very hard to score against them this season. They are playing against a Fiorentina side who have just won once, and that was last weekend. They got their first win of this season. So it's going to be quite a close game. They have drawn 3 times Fiorentina, so they are like not really at that, and they are like, it's not like they I expected Fiorentina to have a good season, but they have not really performed that. I expected them to score a lot of goals, but they have not really clicked till now. They might be able to do it this weekend, but I'm not really sure. I'm gonna sit on the fence on this one as well, but not like the previous game. I think they are not going to be that many goals in this game. I'm going for a 1-all draw between Empoli and Fiorentina. I think this is the fair, like this is going to be a result, but it could go either way. Either of them could nick it at the end, and it could turn out to be 2-1 from either side. But I'm gonna stay with a 1-all draw between Empoli and Fiorentina. Moving on to the next game, it's Napoli versus Monza. Now, as I said already, Napoli played out that boring snooze fest against Juventus. It was a 0-0 game. Monza, on the other hand, they lost to Bologna. It is 2nd versus 19th, 2nd from the top and 2nd from the bottom. Monza are one of the team who have not won a single game in the Serie A till now, so they are really in a bad position. Napoli, they are at home. They have all the resources that everybody expects them to win, and they would want to win because of the other results that are gonna happen. I think Juventus are going to win. I think Torino are going to win. So like, it is very important for Napoli to win, so that the gap doesn't increase between the other teams and them. So that is why I think, and they are playing a Monza side who have been like really bad. As I said, one of the 2 teams who are still winless in the league. So I think that is gonna continue. I am going for a comfortable win for Napoli, a 3-0 win for the home side. And the last game of a Serie A for match day 6, it's a Parma versus a Cagliari. It's 14th versus a 20th. Parma, their season have been okayish, I would say. They have performed good in some games, but in some games they have been really good, really bad. Sorry, they drew last weekend 2-2 against Lecce. It was quite a fun game to watch. If I'm being very honest with you, both of them received a red card as well, so it was quite an entertaining game as well. They are playing against a Cagliari, a side who lost 2-0 to Empoli. They are the other team apart from Monza who are still winless. They are bottom of the table, and they have not been really playing that good. Their performances are not really that good, and I think unfortunately for them that is gonna continue. I think Parma are gonna get a win in this game. They are at home as well, and the way they are playing, I just don't see a Cagliari being able to match that. And I think they might be Parma might be able to get past Cagliari and get the win and get those 3 points. Even though they are 14 and 20, the points difference is not that much, so Parma need to get the win so they can increase the gap between them and the relegation place, and I think they would be able to do it, and that is why I'm going for a 2-1 win for Parma in this game. And with that, my predictions for Serie A for match day 6 are completed. I will see how many of them are correct at the end of the weekend, and how many points I've been able to accumulate, and how many of them were quite wrong. We'll see at the end of the weekend. You guys can play with me as well. Make your predictions in the comment section, and let me know what you guys think of my predictions as well. What do you think? Did I like my predictions are really bad, or do you think I agree with some of them? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 300 subscribers until the month of September, and it's looking really hard at the moment. I mean 80 plus subscribers to get with just 4 days remaining. It's like 20 subscribers per day, so it's quite a big task, but somehow we hope that we are able to achieve it. It's looking really hard, but we still hope. That's it from me. Until next time, bye bye.